Good afternoon. Welcome back to Near Post Flick On. Yes, indeed, the Premier League returns this week. It's always a beautiful thing because it's like, when the international matches are on, we kind of wait for ages, or it feels like an eternity for the Premier League to return. And I'm glad to say it returns this week. And I cannot wait for this round of action. So we're in game week 8 of the Premier League. Of course, the last time round, there were some movers and shakers. Arsenal are top of the league. Can you believe it? Can they continue in the same vein? Who knows? Can Liverpool turn it around? Liverpool have lost their last 3 games. If you didn't know, they've lost their last 3 games, so they're going through a bit of a bad patch at the moment. Can they turn things around? We mentioned people mentioning or people speaking about whether Salah should be dropped. I don't know. It's up to Slot. Is he brave enough to make those types of decisions? Are you going to drop your most prolific attacking player? Possibly a club legend. I don't know. But, there's a lot for Liverpool to ponder. And going into this week's games, it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I don't think they'll drop Salah. I can't see it happening. Not anytime soon anyway. What else? Can Forest win their first game under Ange Postecoglou? Or will he give them just the same thing he gave to Spurs? I don't know. It'll be interesting. But yeah, of course, Forest haven't looked that great. And Ange will be looking to get his first win. And maybe he might get it this week. Who knows? Who knows? Can Chelsea build on that emphatic? Okay, let's not get carried away here. It wasn't an emphatic victory. It was a victory nevertheless, but I wouldn't say it was an emphatic victory against Liverpool. They pulled it out. They beat Liverpool 2-1. Nobody saw that coming, to be honest with you, but Chelsea made it happen. So the question is can they keep that momentum going? And that was a victory, mind you, without Cole Palmer. And they managed to do it. So can Chelsea build on that, and can they start to mount a challenge? Of course, we've mentioned Arsenal being strong, and they are sitting at the helm at the moment. It depends on how long they can hold that for. And Arsenal have been in that position in the past. We all know about Arsenal sitting at the top of the table, but then not making it count when it matters. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what this week's a round of games will offer. So we'll go straight into it. So Nottingham Forest take on Chelsea. So Nottingham Forest are at home, and they will be taking on Chelsea. That's the afternoon kickoff on Saturday, 18th of October. That's an interesting game. It's a must-win for Forest, but can they beat Chelsea? I'm not sure. So I'll say Chelsea will win this game 2-0. If Forest can get a result, a draw, it'll be great for Ange and the boys, but I can't see nothing less than a Chelsea win. So I'm going to say 2-0 Chelsea against Nottingham Forest. Next game, Brighton are taking on Newcastle. That's an interesting game as well. Newcastle, of course, pushing on. Brighton are always strong, always very strong at home, and they're a tougher position. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But you know what? I will go with Brighton. I'll say Brighton will beat Newcastle because they're the home side and they always do well at home. Brighton. So I'll say Brighton will beat Newcastle 2-1. 2-1 to Brighton at home against Newcastle. Moving on to the next game. Right, newly promoted Burnley take on newly promoted Leeds. Now, both teams have been fairly decent, to be honest with you. But I'm going to go with Leeds. I think Leeds have been a better side so far in the Premier League, to be honest with you. I think Leeds have been a better side. And Sunderland, of course, who were newly promoted as well. I think Leeds and Sunderland have been doing very, very well this term. So I will definitely be saying I'll be going with Leeds. So I think Leeds will win this game convincingly. I'll say 3-0 to Leeds against Burnley. Burnley are the home side, but I think Leeds will have too much in their arsenal for them. So 3-0 to Leeds. I'm going for 3-0 Leeds. Crystal Palace will be taking on Bournemouth. These are like the 3 o'clock kickoff, of course. Palace have been impressive all year round, to be honest. They've been impressive all year round, and they're the home side again. And Bournemouth equally have been doing very well as well. I think Bournemouth are 4th in the league. Can you believe that? After 7 games, Bournemouth are 4th, and Palace are 6th. Usually, Palace would be at the other end of the table at this stage. But yeah, credit to both teams. So it's going to be a tough game. I've enjoyed watching both teams play this year so far, or this season, shall I say, so far. But I'm definitely going to go with a Palace. It's going to be tough, but I was going to go with a Palace win, but I'll probably say a 1-1 draw. Let's go with the 1-1 draw. 1-1 draw, Crystal Palace take on Bournemouth. Crystal Palace at home, Selhurst Park. So that would be 1-1 between the two. Going on to the next game, Manchester City take on Everton. Now, Manchester City look like they're turning the styles, and Haaland just seems to have found his touch again, and he's just scoring goals for fun. So, and Everton look good as well with Jack Grealish. Of course, with Jack Grealish, Everton look really good as well. So, I don't know. That's an interesting one, but I think City should have enough. I'm going to say it will be a high-scoring game. I'll probably say 4-1 Man City against Everton. If you're an Evertonian, no offense, but it is what it is. City will just be too strong for Everton. So I'm saying Manchester City 4-1 against Everton. Man City 4-1 against Everton. Moving on to Sunderland against Wolves. Wolves have been very disappointing this season. I don't know what the hell's going on with Wolves, but they haven't been at their best. And at this stage, I wouldn't argue a case that Wolves will stay up this season. The way they're playing, they look like they're bound for relegation this year. To be honest, they look like they're bound for relegation. So, and Sunderland look like they've been impressive. Sunderland currently they're ninth for the table. Sunderland. So I'll say Sunderland win this game. I'll say 1-0 to Sunderland against Wolves. And then the late afternoon kickoff of that day is Fulham against Arsenal. Arsenal are currently top of the table with 16 points, and they look like they're gelling and playing well. So I would say an Arsenal win, but Fulham at Craven Cottage, it's a tough game for Arsenal, but I think Arsenal may just nick it. They'll probably get a set piece or something like that. I don't know, and they'll win they'll find a way to win anyway. Is what I'm trying to say. They'll find a way to win. So we'll say Arsenal win that game 2-1, 2-1 Arsenal against Fulham. Going on to Sunday's game, Sunday the 19th of October, we've got the mighty Tottenham Hotspur taking on Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa haven't been at their best this season for a number of reasons, but I think they are starting to find their touch. But yeah, it's been a very slow start for Aston Villa. And Spurs, on the other hand, have been very impressive under Thomas Frank. And I'd like to think Tottenham will beat Aston Villa. Tottenham are the home side. And I think that Tottenham Frank, excuse me, I beg your pardon. No, that Thomas Frank Tottenham side have been quite impressive. And I think they're more of an organised unit and they have a newfound resilience. So it's going to be a very tough game for Aston Villa, but I think Tottenham should get that victory there. I'll probably say 3-1 Tottenham. 3-1 Tottenham against Aston Villa. Moving on to the next game. That's Liverpool against Manchester United. That game will take place at 4:30 p.m. That's a massive game. Massive game. Once upon a time, this was the marquee game in the Premier League once upon a time. And I'm sure between the fans as well, it's still a marquee game. There's still some rivalry there between Liverpool and Manchester United. Of course, both clubs are equally the most successful clubs in the land. So, yeah, it's a tough game. But as I say, Liverpool, they've lost a few games now. Man United could go there and cause an upset. You never know. But I'd like to think Liverpool will turn it around and get a victory. So I'll say Liverpool win that game against Man United 2-0. But anything can happen. I won't be surprised if it ends up in a draw. Won't be surprised if Man United nick it. Anything can happen. But for now, I'm saying Liverpool win that game 2-0. 2-0 Liverpool. Moving on to Monday Night Football. West Ham take on Brentford. I think that'll probably end up in a draw. I'd like to say 1-1 between the two sides because, to be fair, both sides are struggling. But yeah, I'm going to say West Ham against Brentford is 1-1. 1-1 against West Ham against Brentford. That will end in 1-1. So yeah, that's what it is at the moment. But yeah, looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to this round of games. I'm sure it's going to be exciting. Can't wait to see it. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.